Hey, what's up, everybody? Anthony Sevins back again for a movie review. Today we're going to do a brief, whatever, in-depth review of 2018 Avengers: Infinity War. I have seen the movie twice already, 2 days in a row, so it's nice and fresh in my head and whatnot. Now, for those of you who are not into spoilers, because I like to talk about things, I don't like to keep myself too limited, but if you're into spoilers, probably now is going to be a good time to push the little stop button, because it's time to get busy, pal. But anyways, yeah, I had actually spent the past so many weekends rewatching every single Marvel film, as probably most of you have. You know, if you're into the comic book films and the MCU and whatever, and you try. Before going into Avengers: Infinity War, you try to pay attention to every little teeny tiny detail, because you're like, oh, I'm going to figure this out before I get to the movie and all this other stuff. And boy, oh boy, let me tell you, Avengers: Infinity War, is one of those films that is just, I don't care who you are, I don't care if you like comic books or not, it is an astonishing, amazing piece of cinematic history. It really, truly is. I mean, no other film in the world has united all these different, separate films and these characters, these groups, and brought them all into one movie and did it right. I remember years ago people used to complain, like, it takes Spider-Man 3, for example, right? You had Spider-Man, you had Sandman, you had Venom, and people used to bitch and moan that, oh, there were too many people in the film, too many characters going on, too many stories going on. But the Marvel Cinematic Universe has proven, with like 50-something different characters, and it's just, it can be done. The Avengers: Infinity War, it really proved that having tons of characters, tons of heroes, tons of villains, and just a fantastic team of story writers and fantastic team of actors, and you give the movie an ample amount of time, you can just pull some freaking magic out of it all, and they did. I mean, it was that. Some people complain, the movie was a bit too long for my lovin', but I personally, I thought it wasn't long enough. I really, it was one of those films that just kept, from the time the movie started, it kept going and going and going, and you're like, yes, 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 and by the time the movie ended, you're like, I want more. And and usually people get really frustrated with lengthy movies. So if you're not into super duper lengthy movies, maybe this isn't for you. If you're not into superheroes and comic books and stuff, maybe this won't be a film for you. But for those of you who have, gone on this huge, never-ending journey for the past 10 years now, it's so well worth the wait. It really, really is. Now, I don't want to get into too many theories about things, and the reason why is because there's just so much that happens in this film. The things that I loved the most, in a very general sense, I loved how you had all these characters, and each of them really did have their moment to shine. So if you're a fan of one particular character, they rest assured that your character will probably make some kick-ass appearance or maneuver, or they will have a great scene or something funny going on. I personally, of all of the different Avengers, I was a huge Spider-Man fan first and foremost before getting into all of the other Avengers, and what they did with Spider-Man's story arc. I really loved it. At first I didn't know what to make of them bringing in the Iron Spider costume into this film, but seeing how they did it with the nanotechnology and everything, it was just kind of like, or this is really taking, just normal Spider-Man stuff way the fuck out of its element. And I absolutely love what they did with the Iron Spider. As a matter of fact, I was looking at this website, one of my favorite superhero websites called superherostuff.com, where they sell just tons of superhero merchandise for virtually almost any character you could think of. And I was really eyeballing a Spider-Man, an Iron Spider backpack today. So I mean, it's one of those things that just kind of really grew on me since the first announcement, since the first picture, the first trailer, and actually seeing the Iron Spider in action. I mean, Tom Holland is just a fantastic freaking actor, and just when I remember when they announced after you had. Tobey Maguire, you had Andrew Garfield, and then when they announced, this other guy is going to be Spider-Man, you're just like, oh my god, another Spider-Man. But I personally think that Tom Holland is the best Spider-Man ever, and there is none higher. And I think what they did with his arc, and even at the end of the movie, it was really emotional. How they pulled everything off, and that really goes for all of the characters. I mean, this was a film where you had these villains that were literally big, terrifying badasses. I mean, Thanos most of all, but even the other villains. I personally, I kind of dug Ebony Maw. The guy who was torturing Doctor Strange. I liked the way the character looked. I really liked that he was this, I guess you can say he was like the mouth of Thanos. I loved that he was one of those, like, hear ye, you are about to be destroyed by the children of Thanos. This like little announcer guy's like this court dude. It was really, really fun. It was great villains. I love that they were strong. They didn't care. I personally am a huge movie villain guy, so if you're into villains, this film has some serious villainry going on in there. I mean, mostly my favorite of the bad guys were Thanos and Ebony Maw. And the other characters, I mean, they were great for what they were. I didn't necessarily care for the design of the other characters, but I mean, every single actor and actress in this film just did a fantastic job. Now, as far as things that were questionable, I mean, this is definitely, because the movie is so long of a film, it's definitely one of those films that you want to go back and see it again, maybe 2 or 3 times, to catch every little teeny tiny detail, because you're just like, okay, well, what happened with Shuri and when she was messing with the one stone, and what was up with Thanos's damaged gauntlet at the end of the film, and you start, there's just tons of questions, and the way that Doctor Strange went out, when he was looking at Tony Stark, or even when he handed the stone to Thanos, and it was almost like in a confidence, like this kind of like, wait a minute, I think Doctor Strange might be up to something. And there was just a lot of things that were happening in this film, but it just kept going and going and going. Now, seeing it a second time, I was really able to step out of the shock and awe of the film and just really start paying attention to things. And even the second go around, I still had a bunch of questions and thinking about things. And I remember that I went with my family, and we were all just talking about it the whole ride home. And it's like, it seems like every day we're trying to figure out, like, where was Thanos at the very end of the film, and all this other stuff. So yeah, I mean, Avengers Infinity War on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being, oh my god, it couldn't have been better, and 1 being, holy Christ, this movie absolutely sucks ass and shouldn't have been made, I definitely give Avengers Infinity War a solid 9 without a doubt. I am leaving off that 10th point because it cliffed hanged us. It gave us this cliffhanger at the end. It wasn't like a complete story. It was like all this crazy shit happened, and everyone was like, "What the hell?" Now, did that piss me off? No, it didn't, because I was actually expecting a two-part story. I was very much, I went into the film already expecting it to be like a Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 1 and Part 2. So, I mean, I knew it was going to cliffhang, but how they cliffhang it, how they did it at the end, cliff hung it, hanged it, I don't know the word. But, it really did leave you sitting there staring at the screen for about a good minute, and you're like, like, what the hell just happened? I mean, for Avengers Infinity War, the hype was real. And I mean, as if anybody had any doubts, really. I mean, they made, what, 10 plus movies, 11, 12, 13, 18 movies? I don't even remember how many movies they made. It was a shit ton of movies, and all of them were fantastic in their own way. And yes, someone's probably going, but not Iron Man Part 2. I liked Iron Man Part 2 and 3 and some of the things that other people kind of look down upon. And admittingly so, I'm a DC fan, man. I'm a huge Batman fan. But when it comes to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, I haven't seen a bad movie yet. I think if I had to gripe about one thing, and it really is in nobody's control anymore, was that you have the Incredible Hulk with Edward Norton, and that's an official part of the MCU, and just that miscontinuity between Norton and Mark Ruffalo. But I think that sometimes there are changes all for the better. Even the character of Rhodey going from one actor to another. It's like when there's not perfect continuity, sometimes it gets under my skin, and it's like, But fortunately for the Marvel Universe, I think that their choices of the new actors were way better. But yeah, overall, a solid 9 for Avengers Infinity War. I suggest you go and see it if you're an enthusiast, a comic book enthusiast like I am. You're going to definitely want to see this movie 2, 3, maybe 4 times. I mean, I already watched it yesterday, and I saw it today, and I should be in bed right now sleeping, because I'm going to go see it again tomorrow. 3 days in a row for me. And who knows, maybe a few more before it leaves the theaters. Yeah, 2 thumbs up. Just amazing, incredible movie. Everything from the special effects and even the music by Alan Silvestri. If you really pay attention to the music, it was absolutely gorgeous. It was gorgeous. No complaints whatsoever. Avengers Infinity War, Wakanda Forever. Awesome. Love you guys. This is Anthony Sevins signing off. Until we meet again, please take care of yourself and take care of each other.